Skippy John Jones. Every morning, Skippy John Jones woke up with the birds. And this did not please his mother at all. "Get yourself down here right now, Mr. Kitten Britches," ordered Mama Junebug Jones. No self-respecting cat ever slept with a flock of birds, she scolded, or ate worms, or flew, or did his laundry in Mrs. Doohiggy's bird bath. The lecture went on as usual. "You've got to do some serious thinking before you leave this room, Mr. Fuzzy Pants," said his mother, "about just what it means to be a cat, not a bird, not a mouse or a grouse, not a moose or a goose, not a rat or a bat. You need to think about just what it means to be a Siamese cat." But once he was alone, Skippy John Jones began to bounce and bounce and bounce on his big boy bed. "Oh, I'm Skippy John Jones, and I bounce on my bed, and once or 6 times I land on my head." On his way down to earth from a gigantic big bounce, Skippy John Jones shot past his bedroom mirror. "Holy guacamole!" exclaimed Skippy John Jones. "What was that?" So up he went again, and again it appeared. Then, using his very best Spanish accent, he said, "My ears are too big for my head. My head is too big for my body. I am not a Siamese cat. I am a Chihuahua." Back on land, Skippy John Jones climbed into his old toy box and rifled through some of his old junk. After he put on his mask and sword and climbed onto his mouse, Skippy John Jones began to sing in a moist, soft voice. "My name is Skippito Friskito. I fear not a single bandito. My manners are mellow. I am sweet like the jello. I get the job done, yes indeedo." Back in the kitchen, Jujubee, Jezebel, and Jillyboo Jones were helping Mama Junebug Jones make lunch. "Could Skippy John come out of his room now?" asked Jujubee. "No," answered Mama Junebug Jones. "Mr. Fluffernutter is still thinking." In fact, Skippy John wasn't thinking about being a Siamese cat at all. With a walk into his closet, his thoughts took him down a lonesome desert road, far, far away in old Mexico. Not long into its journey, a mysterious band of Chihuahuas appeared out of the dust. "Ay, caramba! Who goes there?" asked Skippy John Jones. "We go by the name of Los Chimichangos," growled Don Diego, the biggest of the small ones. "Who are you?" "I'm El Skippito, the great sword fighter," said Skippy John Jones. Then the smallest of the small ones spoke up. "Why the mosquito, dude?" asked Paquito Tito. "I go incognito," said Skippito. "Do you like rice and beans?" asked Pintolito. "Si, I love mice and beans," said Skippito. "He might be the dog of our dreams," whispered Rosalita. "Perhaps," said Tia Mia, "if he knows the secret password." Leaning toward Don Diego, El Skippito half sneezed, half spoke the secret password into the Chihuahua's very large ear. "Achoo! Bless you," said Don Diego. "Gracias," said Skippito. Oh, never mind. "Pichu! Then it is true," declared Don Diego. "Yip, yippee, yippito. It's the end of Alfredo Bazito. Skippito is here. We have nothing to fear. Adios to the bad bumblebeeto." Then all of the chimichangos went crazy loco. First, they had a fiesta. Then they took a siesta. But after waking up, the chimichangos got down to serious business. Using his paw, Don Diego drew a picture in the sand of the great bumblebeeto for Skippito to see. A hush grew over the chimichangos, so great that one could hear a whisker drop. "Alfredo Bazito," whispered the crowd. "El Blimpo Bumblebeeto Bandito." "Si," said Paquito Tito. "The bandito steals our frijoles." "Not your beans!" cried Skippito, outraged. "Si," Paquito continued. "Red beans, black beans, Boston baked and blue, cocoa, coffee, kidney beans, pinto, and jelly too." "And now he comes for us," said Paquito. "Por qué?" asked Skippito. "Because we are full of the beans too." Then Don Diego stood tall and in his most somber voice declared, "Lo que frijoles!" Huh? Asked Skippy-Toe. "The dude just wants his beans back," said Paquito-Tito. "And you're the dog for the job." Then all the chimichangas turned to Skippy-Toe, the great sword fighter. But poor Skippy-Toe had no time for a plan, because in the blink of an eye, a gigantic shadow darkened the landscape. The chimichangas scattered in all directions. "Vamos, Skippy-Toe, or it is you, the Bumblebee-Toe will eat-o," they cried. Skippy-Toe stood his ground, but his legs shimmied and shook like the jello, and his teeth chattered like the castanets. Then in a more soft voice he said, "My name is Skippy-Toe Frisky-Toe. I fear not a single bandito." But Alfredo Bazito flew straight for Skippy-Toe until the bean-eating bandito hovered only inches away from the great sword fighter's face. "Holy for holies!" cried Skippy-Toe as he thrust his sword in the air. Suddenly, pop went the bandito, landing on Skippy-Toe's sword. And quicker than one could say chihuahuas, cheese, and crackers, every kind of bean came spilling out of Alfredo Bazito, the bumblebee bandito. Then all the doggies burst into song. "Yippee, yippee-toe, yippee-toe." Our hero is now Skippy-Toe. He's the dog of our dreams who delivered the beans, and now he can make our burritos. But back at home, there was such a ruckus coming from Skippy John Jones that Mama Junebug Jones and the girls just had to find out what was going on. They raced down the hall to the kitty boys' room. Banky-Toe, Crossy-Toe, Paquito, Skippy-Toe! Just in time to see Skippy John's closet exploding. Then out flew Candy Beanbag Doggies and their kitty boy with his birthday pinata on his head. "Skippy John Jones!" everyone cried. "Holy moly," he said in a more soft voice. Mama Junebug Jones lifted up Skippy John and covered his head with furry purry kisses. "What am I going to do with you, Mr. Cocoa Pugs?" she scolded. That night, when he was supposed to be going to sleep, Skippy John began to bounce and bounce on his big boy bed. "Well, I'm Skippy John Jones with a mind of my own, and I bounce on my bed for hours. I know I'm a cat, but forget about that." "Say good night, Skippy John Jones," cried his mama. "When you touch my amigos," said Skippy John Jones.